Okay, so now let's move on to a different type of model to represent fractions. This is the area model. And this is really going to help us to show equivalent fractions. So let's start off. Again, we're looking to create models that are clear and accurate. So I'm going to start by drawing a rectangle. Again, if you have a straight edge, that could be helpful. I'm just pressing down on my pencil and working slowly to try to create my rectangle for my area model. Okay, so let's say that I want to show thirds. So I'm going to look at this, and of course I can't split it in half. I want to kind of visualize 3 equal parts. So I'm going to give it a try. I have an eraser if it doesn't quite work. Okay, this piece right here looks too big to me. Move this over. This. There, that's better. Okay. So now, let's say this time around, I want to talk about 2 thirds. So we're going to talk about 2 of the equal parts here. So I'm going to shade it in. Again, I'm shading lightly. It's really important to be able to see the border around each of those fractional parts so I don't lose sight of those equal parts making up the whole. Okay, there we go. So I've got 2 thirds. Now let's say that I want to show how many sixths are equal to 2 thirds. So 2 thirds is equal to how many sixths? Well, I know that if I split this in half, I will have my 6 equal parts. But I want to show my original thirds. I don't want to lose those thirds in order to prove these are equivalent. So instead of drawing a solid line, I am going to draw a dotted line to really show those 6 parts within the thirds. Okay, so now you can see my 2 thirds is equal to or equivalent to 1, 2, 3, 4, 6. Okay. Say I wanted to take this even further and see 2 thirds is equal to how many twelfths? Well, I would do the same thing. I would start with my thirds. I would split this in half to create my sixths. And now if I split each of these in half, I will now have 12 equal parts or twelfths. And I can see that my original 2 thirds is equal to how many twelfths? Well, I've got 4 twelfths here and 4 twelfths here, so 8 twelfths. That's how the area model works. So I would like you to put this video on pause and try creating some area models. Try creating an area model to show half, and then how many fourths equal half, and how many eighths equal half. You can try all different area models. Take pride in your work and take your time and work slowly. And then when you're finished, come back because I'm going to show you one other kind of model. Okay, so hopefully you tried out some area models. The last model I want to show you is using a number line to show fractions and equivalent fractions. Okay, so in this case, having a straight edge is really helpful. You might not have a ruler, you don't need a ruler. I'm just going to use this piece of paper I was using before. And I'm going to draw a straight line. And then of course I'm going to put my arrowheads on each end to show that it's a number line. It goes on and on forever in both directions. But we are actually just talking about between 0 and 1. So let's say we want to show half. Okay, I split it in half. I really tried to take my time and make sure that I had two what seemed to be equal parts. Not perfect, but I put in good effort. And I am going to show 1/2. Okay, now suppose I want to show how many fourths. So 1/2 is equal to how many fourths? Well, then I need to take this number line and I need to divide it into fourths. So if I take my halves and go right in the middle of each half, I now have 4 equal parts. 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, so I'm going to label those. I've got 1/4 here, 2/4 here, 3/4 here, and 4/4 here. By the way, this was 2 halves as well. I'm going to circle these to show that these are all equal to 1 whole. So if I want to see how many fourths, well, I can see I've got 1/4 here and 2/4. So 2/4 are equal to 1/2. So you can try that out with different number lines. You could break your number line up into thirds, fourths, sixths, anything you want to, and then look for equivalent fractions. I'm going to try another one just to make sure that you understand this. So I'm going to create another straight line. This time, let's say I'm going to divide this line into thirds, so 3 equal parts. I'm going to try to be as accurate as I can. Okay, so I've got 1/3 here, 2/3 here, and 3/3 here, which is of course equal to 1 whole. Okay, and let's say I want to show 2/3. 1/3, 2/3, and I want to see how many sixths this is equal to. So 2/3 is equal to how many sixths? So now I need to divide my line into 6 equal parts. So I'm going to start with my thirds and then split each of those into 2 equal parts, and I will now have my sixths. I'm going to label those. I've got 1/6. I've got 2/6, I've got 3/6, 4/6, 5/6, and 6/6. Oh, that 6 is pretty small there, which of course is 1 whole. So if I want to see how many how many sixths make 2/3, well, I've got 1/6, 2/6, 3/6, 4/6. So 2/3 is equal to 4/6. So you're going to stop the video here and try practicing some number line models. See what you think of those. At this point, you've got 3 different models to work with depending on what your preference is, what works, what makes sense to you, and also the problem that you're trying to solve. So you've got your bar models or tape diagrams, you've got your area model, you've got your number line. So today's math exit ticket is in Google Classroom. You will find it, and it's all about creating models. I want you to take pride in your work. I want you to enjoy it, have fun creating beautiful, clear, accurate models. You'll take pictures of your work, draw on paper, take pictures, and then insert them onto the Google slide. Please make sure they're big enough and clear enough so that I can really see them. I want to see your beautiful work. If you're feeling really proud, you might want to snap a picture and also bring those models into Seesaw for other people to see. We can compliment each other's models and give positive feedback. Okay, until next time, bye.